Over in San Diego, there were quite a few fun Godzilla knickknacks and little things to purchase. There were a lot of fun. One example being this Godzilla Station worker pin, where he's just like saying stop and he's saying something. I got it for my wife because it was nice and cute, just like her. There's this Godzilla -1 train biter pin with the little train bits. I got this for me because the bits are hanging on by a thread, just like I am. I got this pack of Godzilla Station stickers, which I am now cursed to never put anywhere because what if I find a better spot in the future? And then there was the Super Kaiju Godzilla Thirsty for Blood variant. This was a surprise announcement that Brian leaked to me a little bit too early. I ended up having to postpone that clip. But this was first to launch at the convention itself. I think there were 200 units that sold out within the first day. And it will be coming to Target pretty shortly, I think within the next month or so. I've found the Super Kaiju line to be fun so far, although there is something about this release that is itching away at my mind. But before I get to that, let's take a look at the figure. So here we have the Super Kaiju Thirsty for Blood Godzilla right here with the packaging. And right off the bat, just like the Ultimates version, the packaging is a home run. We have art from Arthur Adams featured on both the front and the back of the packaging. We have this really nice embossed logo on the side here, just really killing it. I do enjoy the Super Kaiju packaging, but here you have the packaging. It's a nice it's a nice gray color rather than the standard sort of black of the main line and then the white from -1. All that interesting stuff on the bottom, top, lots of red going on, I guess because he's thirsty for blood. So let's get him opened up and out of the package. And here we have Thirsty for Blood Godzilla opened up and out of the packaging. If you're familiar with the previous two Heisei Godzilla Super Kaijus, you're already familiar with the sculpt and the level of articulation that you can expect out of this guy, but it is an interesting and fun way to bring back that Thirsty for Blood Godzilla in a different format. And if you already have that previous figure, then you have another one to express your love of the Dark Horse Godzilla. Getting a closer look at Godzilla himself, you can see there are lots of wrinkles and folds in the texture. Although I do wish that there was a black wash like there is with the Ultimates to really bring out that detail and highlight that it is a comic book figure. I thought that was really well done on the Ultimates version. It's not here, and I am kind of missing that. Taking a look at the head where he is thirsty for blood, you can see he's got yellow eyes with the red pupils, and there's a little bit of black outline, which has helped to define the eyes. It makes them pop a little bit. I do wish the pupils were a little bit lower. It just looks like he's kind of glaring at you from an angle, although I guess that's not too terrible. Making your way down, the only other paint that you're going to find on this figure are with the toes and the claws. It's a little yellowish, tannish paint application there. Looking down on the spines, that familiar green color, and then of course we do have a bendable tail. And with that, I guess we'll just briefly go over the articulation in case this is the first time you're seeing it. So the head is on a swivel, there is a hinge jaw, the arms will go the whole way around. They come up about that high. Actually, you can get them even higher than that. And then they come down that close to the body. The arms, there is a bend. It's about 90 degrees, maybe ever so slightly less. And then there is a forearm swivel instead of a wrist swivel. Thighs will go out about that much and about that far in. They plug in on ball joints, so there is a little bit of twist as well. Twist at the knees, bends in that much, straightens out about that much. The ankles swivel, and then there is a hinge as well. And then as just previously mentioned, the tail does have a bendy wire in it, and it does appear to connect in on what feels like a ball joint. I've never really explored that joint before, but it feels like a ball joint, and then you can get this guy bending about that much. Now, he is not alone in the box. He comes with this purple piece of building, which appears to be a recast of the building segment that came with Wave 1. And so if I line it up, yeah, it is in fact the same mold as the building piece from Wave 1. I don't remember if this came with BioGoji or with Mechagodzilla 93, but it is the same. It's just done in purple. Now, I will say that when this piece came with Burning Godzilla, I was really hoping that we were going to get a standalone figure that came with the other half of this. So we now have two incomplete building segments, and that
feels a little bit not great. I much would have preferred like we had the finisher to that rather than have another piece that's incomplete. And I'm also not sure where the other half of this building is going to be coming from. Is it going to be coming from another special variant? Is it another con exclusive Target delayed release? Is it going to be something else comic book inspired? I'm not really sure. So to have 2 incomplete halves now, I'm kind of like, I really wish that we just get a complete building. And as I mentioned before, I kind of wish that these figures would come with complete buildings from the get-go. Here is Thirsty for Blood next to the other 2 versions of this mold, although technically the Burning Godzilla does have some new spines. And then here is Thirsty for Blood with the other 2 Super Kaiju to come out of this line so far. -1 is still my favorite of the line, and I think Burning Godzilla is a close second. But I think this is where I want to bring in the big guns and have you see this guy next to his ultimate counterpart. I think that this is still, by and large, the more superior figure, and I think for a lot of people this is still the best thing that Super 7 has put out in the Toho line thus far. But even just to give you a sense of like looking at the difference in detail, this guy's got a black wash applied to the body, whereas this one does not, and it really makes this one feel cheap in comparison, if I'm being completely honest. Get a close-up on the faces. You can kind of see that the eyes are a little bit too high up on this one. And then maybe just comparing the spines, you can see that the Ultimate has a little bit more of a darker green color towards the center, whereas this one is a little bit more uniform. Definitely the Ultimate coming with a miniature Art Adams, which I don't have displayed right now. It just adds to the fact that this is definitely the more superior one to have. If you're really enjoying the Super Kaiju line thus far, and maybe you don't have this one, or maybe you do, I think there will be a lot of folks that are interested in this one. It did sell out at Godzilla Station within the first day. But for me personally, having this one in hand makes this one not a super must-have for me.
So those are my thoughts on the Thirsty for Blood Godzilla Super Kaiju, however, whatever title you want to give it. Honestly, to me, the thing that I think bothers me about this release is that the first Ultimate was so good. People really liked that release. It still goes for a lot of money on the aftermarket. The Super Kaiju release to me just feels like a doubling down that we won't get that Ultimate version reissued in some way. And I get like all in the spirit of keeping an exclusive release special or keeping specific releases special, but the Super Kaiju just falls short in a lot of ways for me. That the lack of black wash on the body, the eyes are not quite right, and also it's just not an Ultimate figure. I really wish that they could find some rationale to reissue this guy. I think that if they did it where he wasn't bloody and maybe he came with a beam effect, like a beam head, maybe that would differentiate it enough from the first release to, you know, be in line with what their values and their principles or whatever you want to call it. I just think that this is so much better of a figure that I really just wish that more people would be able to get their hands on it. I'll put a link in the description if there's one available to pre-order the Thirsty for Blood Super Kaiju from Target directly. It should be available in stores as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye!